While we were on vacation, we visited a thrift store and I picked up this book, which I thought was really lovely. It's The Inventions of Leonardo da Vinci. It was $8, which is a little more than I usually spend on a book at a thrift store, but I thought this would make the greatest sketchbook. So I love that it has a sketch on the front. I love it's kind of old and modeled look of the cover. Like it looks like it's been around for a bit, which just kind of endears me to it. And there are a few things that I look for to pick out a book for a sketchbook. One is the price. So this was a little on the high end for me. Sometimes I use books that I already have that we're, getting rid of around here, like old children's books and things like that. Or sometimes I find them like very cheap, and like 50 cents or $1 is more often the price range. But I will make an exception if the other aspects of my criteria are well met. So one is the cover, and that includes just the appearance of it and also the size. Like this is the size this way is very nice. It's close to a size of a legal sheet of paper, so I know it's gonna fit on my scanner. It's just a little bit narrower. So I know it's a nice size to work with. Also the thickness. I don't want one that's super thick. I want one that's just like a nice handy size, and this one definitely met that criteria. So the cover was very suitable, I thought, for being a sketchbook. The second thing that I look at is the paper, and the paper I prefer not to be glossy paper. So this feels fairly matte, like it will accept things okay. I'm going to be trying that out here in just a little bit and seeing what I think. Again, this is not like if I loved everything else about the book, I could always cover the pages with gesso, clear gesso, or white or black or whatever gesso, and kind of work around it that way. But the fact that the paper's already feels pretty good to work on is definitely a plus. Also the cover, like if the cover had not been attractive, like it was the right size and you can't change those, but if it was not an attractive cover, that's okay. I could always collage or paint on top of it. So some of these are negotiable, but the more of these qualities or criteria that are met, the better, which is part of what made me willing to pay the extra price. Because that will save me a lot of work if I don't need to gesso the pages. And then the other thing I'm looking at is the content. So, I can use this type face page just fine to make my art on top of. And sometimes I kind of prefer that. But I thought it would also be really fun. It's got all these sketches of Da Vinci in here that could be very fun to, incorporate into my own pieces. So I thought it had a nice mix of, fairly blank pages, which I love type as a background or peeking through. So that's a plus as far as I'm concerned. It also has plenty of blank areas. But these drawings of Da Vinci's that are included in here, I thought could be really great. I love that they're just kind of sepia. They're not like they could be incorporated into the background of it. So I thought that could be pretty fun. It's got all these, drawings of these inventions and things like that, which I just thought could be fun. I just could imagine me doing a sketch, that kind of overlapped or was incorporated with this sketch and that could be really fun. So we'll see. It just excited me at the time, and am anxious to work in it. I've waited so that I could film my process of like kind of testing it out. But we'll go from there. So just join me as I use this. So I think that I will use this in a couple different ways. One is I'll just sketch like kind of ignoring what's there and just use it as if the pages were blank and do my own sketches. But then another thing I might do is to build off of, like, this could become a hat, you know, for a head. And actually, where Da Vinci and I are collaborators on the illustration. I love the idea of that, you know, of using parts of pre-existing things and jumping on from there. I do think that it will be fun. I think this, on this title page, The Inventions of Leonardo da Vinci, I think I'll just add "and me," and just, you know, it's a little tongue-in-cheek thing. So I think that will be fun to do. And I'm looking forward to just playing in here and seeing what happens. So first thing I'm going to do is do some testing of different materials and media and see how they react in here. I'm pulling out my pen rule that has several different things, and I'll just kind of put it to the test. I'm going to need a water brush. Get one that has some water in it. And I'll just do some testing here. I have this graph tone, water-soluble graph tone. Let me see what all pages I've got here and where I might want to. Okay, I might just start on the index here. This is Derwent water-soluble graph tone pencil. It's a 8B. This seems like it's taken water pretty nicely, not buckling too bad. I'm gonna see what this Koi brush pen, water soluble brush pen. Maybe try adding a little color on here and seeing how this behaves. That seems to bleed out okay. See how this Blackwing pencil works on here. Oh, that feels very nice. That actually works quite nice on there. I don't know why I'm drawing faces. It just was, I guess, kind of a little default thing to use when I'm trying things out. I do really like the feel of this pencil on this paper. So that'll be nice. That'll be nice to know. Okay, another thing I want to try is a micron pen. This is a 01, so pretty fine tip. That also feels very nice on this paper. Okay, that works well. What else do I want to try? We'll try a colored pencil here. This is a Prismacolor Pumpkin Orange. This is a Faber-Castell watercolor marker. Alright, so I've had a little bit to work in this Da Vinci sketchbook, altered book, journal, whatever you want to call it. So I just thought I'd give you a flip through, and I don't have gobs in it yet, but I do have some that I have used. So this is an example of using what was there and adding doodles to it. So I just am kind of just barely begun this, and so sometimes I'm just in a doodle mood. So, you know, sometimes maybe I will just doodle a little bit, add into it. I have been using, because there's all these sepia colored illustrations, this Dusted Truffle ink by Diamine. And one thing, the bottle is just beautiful, but I really love this color of ink, and sometimes I use it, like I shake it up so the little shimmer gets mixed in, but sometimes I just don't worry about the shimmer and just use it as is, because I'm not a huge shimmer person, but I have been using it in, I use it with a dip pen, my brass dip pen. I also have some very inexpensive fountain pens. This is a box that my daughter's fiance made, and isn't that beautiful? It just works lovely, and it's wood from our own place, which just makes it extra meaningful. I'm just thrilled with it. Anyway, so I use that to keep my fountain pens in, but I have an inexpensive fountain pen that I have filled with the Dusted Truffle. So when I'm doodling in here, it makes the perfect doodle pen to go with to kind of match the illustrations when I'm wanting to carry on. Lots and lots of blank pages still left in here. Like this, I've just barely done a little bit. Definitely lots of space left to do more. That's kind of how I like to work in these, is just gradually add to. I might glue things in. I have some really cool vintage papers I've recently acquired, and I think this would be a fun place to glue those in. I like this botanical thing here. You know, I think I could do something with that. So there's a lot that I'm excited to use. This is a vintage illustration that I glued in on this page, and I think I'll just kind of gradually build that up. But how fun is that? Ties in perfectly. This was just playing around with some new fountain pen inks and just kind of trying them out and checking out the colors. The name of this one was Bah Humbug, and then I also used it in conjunction with Weeping Willow, which is also very lovely ink and looks nice in these pages. Just started doing a little extending the sketch, like so I extended the parts that stick across the border, or where I've extended it. And that's just kind of a fun way to make use of the sketches. Here's another one where I'm just extending it. So a lot of these I've just done little bits, and then I'll just gradually build. Here's another one where I added this head. I can't remember now what was there and what wasn't. I think part of this was there, and then I added part of it. This is totally added on. I believe this horse was entirely there. And then I just kind of painted around it. Just playing with ideas and what could be done. For the most part, this book lays fairly flat, but there are some pages, some spreads in here that are less flat. Just kind of need to work in. This is an example. The tree, what's left of the tree, was part of the original illustration, and I just painted negative spaces and to leave the tree behind, and I kind of like how that turned out. I like that look. This is a little beginning of embellishment. Okay, this is a page that I have prepped with paint, with matte paint, and been kind of juicy about it, and it will be a great background. I left this word construction showing along with a little bit of this illustration. You can still kind of see the text through the paint, which I think will be really fun. I don't know yet what else is going to go on here, but I think it's a very fun beginning. This book does take paint pretty well, so that's happy. Okay, here's another one where this original image was there and it had these words. I added these little animals in burrows to it, and then these painted the negative space again around it. Just kind of experimenting, trying out ideas, which is what a sketchbook should be anyway. Okay, here's one I think that I had started on camera, and this is just, I've taken it a little further, added some paint and doodles. I'm not sure, again, I'll probably add more paint. I don't know for sure what all is going to happen with this, but it will just kind of gradually evolve as well. Okay, this one is another one that's gradually evolving. This little diagram became a hat, and then I added things to it. We'll see where it ends up. Who knows? Who knows where these will come to? But it'll be fun getting there. I said there's not a whole lot of these pages that I've worked on yet. I want to give you an idea of what I do with it. Here's another illustration that I turned this, I added this little bit, this robot head to it. That's fun. Here's another one I've doodled on too. I really like this. This isn't finished yet. I made this be a top hat for this man. Added some gears and then painted around it to make this a house. And I really like how I did the background on this. I like that look. I'm not sure what all's going to happen with this yet, but not done. Another work in progress. I don't know if this book is still available or, but I'm sure you can find something similar at a thrift store. I just am always keeping, oh, those stuck together. I'm always keeping my eyes open for good possibilities. Another thing that I might do with this down the road is if it starts to fatten up, like if I glue things in or put a lot of paint layers or anything in here, collage, I might actually remove some of these pages. And if I do that, I'm going to look like this is the center of a signature. So I would remove the pages there first. That way, like if you just tear out a page, then the other half of it, wherever it falls in the signature, will be loose too. So that way I can kind of make sure that I'm getting them right. Now here I have another page that I prepped and was very juicy and yummy with, and I love having this kind of page to work with. You can see some of the original illustrations through here, some of the text, and I think that's just what really makes this rich and using an altered book. I was messy and drippy and juicy with it, and so I have, you know, it's flowed onto the edges of the pages. But I don't mind that at all because I just think that fits in with kind of the aged look of things. And I think kind of vintage, worn, weathered look is kind of will be the theme of this book, along with kind of industrial mechanical type illustrations. So what else do I have in here? Okay, here's another one where I painted negative spaces. So this was an original, some kind of looked like machinery image, and then I just painted the negative spaces to turn those into trees. So I kind of like the juxtaposition of the man-made mechanical with the nature's trees. So I think that's kind of interesting. Here's another one that I just have, it's hard to tell what was original and what's been doodled onto, but that is another example where I've just continued to add some paint and doodles and ink. I added these little running guys in here, and this little kind of trophy guy on top, little guy sitting on a lever. It looks like it's part buildings, just fanciful things. I've drawn in some pipes here, just added to what the original illustration was, and just kind of had fun with that. So it's kind of just a starting place. And I believe that's it, other than this page where you saw me trying out different materials. And so that's it for now, and sometime later when I've added more in here, I'll give you an update. But that's how it's coming so far. I'm liking it. I still love this cover. This very weathered, old, worn looking cover I think is beautiful. So that's how I use an altered book. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.